Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure to greet all of you to this kickoff event for the World City Summit 2022, which resumes as an in-person event after a 4-year gap. I warmly welcome you all to Singapore and to the Smart Cities Workshop, a flagship event for the World City Summit. All of us are extremely pleased with the wonderful responses shown by global leaders and the international community. Our inaugural in-person Smart Cities Workshop builds on the success of last year's virtual workshop. Indeed, we are encouraged to have with us more than 120 representatives from a total of 60 cities and partners who are ready to roll up their sleeves for this highly interactive 3-hour one-on-one clinic sessions that will begin shortly. We've seen how the COVID-19 pandemic has spawned widespread use of smart technologies for us to overcome this difficult period. And we can see how it is also charting the new norm in many cities, especially in their pursuit for sustainable development and decarbonization. Well before the pandemic, Singapore had embarked on our aspiration to be a smart nation, and we are now more convinced than ever at the value of smart solutions to support our endeavors. But for cities to best exploit such smart solutions and technologies, collaboration between the public and private sectors is a must. Singapore's digital infrastructure, such as our national digital identity, is one such example. It's been designed to enable both the public and private sectors to build on these tools and develop products and services to better serve Singaporeans. In the same vein of public and private collaboration, the WCS Smart Cities Workshop will provide an exclusive networking platform for both city leaders and partners to advance smart cities projects. Each clinic session has been carefully curated to ensure that partners' areas of expertise are suitably matched with each city's specific project needs. So I hope that the congregation of ideas here will translate into valuable partnerships with smart urban development outcomes that will help build sustainable and resilient smart cities of the future. This year's workshop also includes the showcase of these smart city action plans developed as part of the Temasek Foundation Urban Resilience Program, one of CLC's flagship international capability development training programs. In conclusion, I would like to thank all cities and partners, including our WCS sponsors and exhibitors, for participating in this workshop. I would especially like to thank MasterCard, our WCS Smart Cities partner, and EY, our knowledge partner, for generously supporting this event. Lastly, I wish everyone a meaningful time at the WCS Smart Cities Workshop. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Marianne. My name is Jody Barnett. I am the global lead for Cities, City Possible, and Transit and Urban Mobility at MasterCard. And so what does that mean? That means that we work together across a network of public and private partnerships to really help cities advance their agendas with a variety of solutions and thought leadership that really help to push urban innovation. And it's that common interest in pushing urban innovation and that shared interest that we all have here today that brings us here. I'm sure, like me, many of you have traveled from far to join us today, for the next few days, I should say. And so I thought I would share a brief story about my journey here. So, I am on a plane for many hours, as I'm sure many of you are, and there's always that moment where you sort of find yourself staring off into space. And I caught a glimpse of somebody's screen, and he was watching the Tales of the Tundra. So, of course, as a Canadian, I'm going to look, right? It was so fascinating to me. They were telling the story of this woman whose snowmobile had broken down. And they said, well, you're out here on your own, so your snowmobile breaks down, who's going to help you? And she said, up here, it doesn't matter who you are, what your beliefs are, we have to work together for survival. We have to work together to live in unity in this climate. So first of all, I thought that was beautiful. And second of all, it really rung true to me to sort of why we're all here, right? It's this effort of working together, of spending this time to understand the challenges, to talk openly about the solutions that are out there, so that it's not a best-kept secret, so that cities can help cities to scale, to learn how to use information and technology in ways that really help support them. And that really is the basis of the network that we run called City Possible, which joined 4 years ago. We formed with just 16 members. Today we are over 330. And the whole point of that is, again, this gathering, much like this, to understand what are some of those challenges. So you hear things like, making database decisions or fact-find decisions. You hear things like how to enhance inclusivity. How do you make sure you're creating an accessible city for everybody? And so all of those challenges were there before the pandemic. They are still there. And in many ways, the pandemic gave us the opportunity to have a moment where we found something new. And that is our shift to digital. And the way in which digital has now propelled us into this time where there are so many wonderful things that cities are now enabled to do. And as somebody who has spent a career sort of sitting along the sidelines and being also directly involved in many of the different implementations and the pace of innovation, I'm thrilled to spend a few days with you all to really listen to the types of things that you're challenged with and how we use this moment when we think about where we are with digital to really propel us even further forward. Over the next few days, we're going to be hosting a variety of workshops as well. And so, and so for those of you who are looking to register, we have a QR code in and around the facility if you haven't already registered. We're going to be talking about things like tourism. We're going to be talking about things like creating an accessible city, talking about things like sustainability. And I really invite you all to pop in and get to know us and spend a little bit of time together to really make the most of this time and this moment. So without further ado, I would like to invite a colleague of mine, Steve Tay, to come up and talk to you all about some specific examples of things that we've seen in the city space over the last number of years, certainly, and shed a little bit of light in terms of the things that we get to do with MasterCard.
Thank you, Jody, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be here with you. Jody laid a great foundation as to why we launched City Possible, and I'm going to spend the next few moments to really layer on a couple of examples as to how we've partnered and had some deep conversation with our city partners that really resulted in direct action. We talk a lot about partnership and the super collaboration of co-creation. But a primary reason of why some traditional smart city solutions have failed is because it could be overly prescribed and not the result of direct collaboration. And so the former is not the antithesis that we want to be involved with. Within our organization, the DNA, our core, at the heart of our DNA is this whole idea that our government city solutions really tries to address our city's most pressing challenges and developing very meaningful and thoughtful and relevant solutions that cities can use to drive their objectives and mission. Hearing from your cities this morning, having some conversation with various folks in the room about the ongoing challenges that cities are trying to face is a perfect example of how the City Possible network can be leveraged for good. What we've seen in the past 2.5 years has been clear, that the pandemic has underscored and amplified the need to really try to address the most vulnerable population segments. And part of that means evolving digital service strategies across the public sector domain. And while digitization enables inclusion, it can also raise barriers. And so inclusion must be at the forefront of every engagement. We must infuse inclusion so that when we develop technology and when we're trying to solve for those solutions, that ensures everyone has access. To date, MasterCard has initiated over 100 programs specifically in response to COVID-19, primarily assisting with digital prepaid solutions to those vulnerable segments. I've seen firsthand the key challenges that are shared by cities, and when they share that with the City Possible Network, we bring in a framework to co-create, test, and to build scalable solutions. And then subsequently, we tie our city partners, our private sector industry leaders, who really are equally committed to people-centered design. One concrete example is our MasterCard City Key program, where we are helping cities build inclusive financial inclusion to have community reach and engagement for all sectors of the population. An example is during the pandemic, the city of Los Angeles needed a way to help families that were really facing financial hardship, many of whom were immigrants and non-documented workers who were not getting the social benefits that they deserved. Working with the city's financial institution, the City Key program was created to disperse funds via prepaid cards. And from donation to initial disbursement, that whole process took a little over 8 days. In total, the city distributed over $37 million on 35,000 prepaid cards, impacting 105,000 families. And we're employing this very similar approach globally. Here in the AP, we're working with the Philippines, in the Camarines province, where we're enabling municipal IDs with payment functionality that will be issued to 1 million residents that will be given social disbursements in a safe and secure manner. In addition to payment functionality, we're also exploring how City Key can be combined with municipal IDs to provide access to recreation centers, to libraries, to rec centers, and to campuses and universities. As cities continue to grow and in size and complexity, we have to be intentional about the innovation that we're bringing forth so that city residents can have seamless access to city services, and that cities in turn can be able to support the residents on an ongoing quest to build inclusive and prosperous cities. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here, and certainly someone who's been locked up effectively in Australia for the last 2 years. It's certainly good to travel and see the world again, and very much enjoying being here with you today. I'm just going to take a quick overview of some of the challenges that we as EY are seeing in the Smart Cities agenda, and looking at some of the strategies that we can help you with your own partners and work locally to help actually look at what the financing strategies, some of the digital transformation services, and also doing it in a sustainable manner as well, as we see greater pressure put on our urban economies from the increased urban development. So that's kind of the agenda for the next 4 or 5 minutes. And then myself and my colleagues will be joining you at the matchmaking tables as we go through some of the one-on-ones with each city. So firstly, because what we are seeing globally now, and anyone that's been stuck at home for the last 2 years in your own city, we have seen that there is significant pressure being put on cities that has come under a significant microscope in the last couple of years. And some of the key sort of challenges we are seeing is that there's much greater urbanisation, much more focus on services, and therefore how we improve these services, make them more efficient, and also much more focus on smarter services. Citizens are demanding much more, better level of service, better integration, better connectivity. So what we are seeing is that is pushing significant challenges on public services within the city, and as that migration continues to the urban areas, that's only going to get worse. It's estimated that, and it's probably quite a low estimate, about $1.7 trillion is required to be spent annually just to meet that connectivity challenge. And you add with that the fact that there could be over 20 billion plus devices required. So again, it is a very complex ecosystem. A lot of these challenges are relatively new to government and therefore are providing additional financing challenges that government has never really had to think about before. And the challenge there will be how they collaborate with the private sector, major government agencies, multi-development partners to actually exploit new financial opportunities to leverage off the data that this technology will deliver, and a new form of partnering with financiers to actually get this win-win outcome. From an EY perspective, we've given this a lot of thought, and we've just got a quick video that we'd like to share just to see that some of the thinking that we're putting together and what we're seeing from some of our client experience. So just cue the video, please.
Smart infrastructure like energy grids and intelligent lighting systems are transforming life in cities. But smart infrastructure needs smart finance. Take this ordinary-looking road. Not only does it double as a fibre superhighway, but sensors underneath it recognise when autonomous vehicles pass above. A controller then relays instructions on speed and lane use to vehicles and traffic lights, preventing any jams. Financing this system requires a new breed of public-private partnership. To create it, the city uses an online marketplace that matches the project to potential investors and partners. These partners have the expertise to both deliver the projects and lease the use of the fibre network to third parties for economic gain. Then there's this multi-billion-dollar system of green infrastructure for preventing urban flooding. It lets rainwater run off naturally while sensors measure water levels. A creative mayor finances it with a green bond, a grant from an intergovernmental organisation and an environmentally focused impact fund. Finally, there's this low-cost modular housing scheme where connected devices control the lighting and the heating. It's financed by a social impact bond that pays out the energy savings when the scheme achieved set outcomes, like providing 150 affordable homes and cutting energy bills by 20%. These are just some ways of paying for smart city projects. There are plenty more to explore. How will you put the capital into your city?
Thank you very much. Well, I'm certainly glad I'm coming towards the end of my career, given all that technology and intellect required. But as we can see, it's a our cities now are a very, very complex ecosystem, and we've moved a long way from when we had a smartwatch or a wearable device, right to the far end of the spectrum where we're seeing everything is connected. It's a complex ecosystem. And in many respects, whilst that's a challenge, it's also an opportunity, because as you saw from the video, there's a lot of data being collected. That data is sellable, marketable, and how we actually use that to leverage smart finance to actually help fund these projects. So I'm conscious of time, but from an EY perspective, where we see our ability to support you in your endeavours as you embrace these challenges, clearly we can help you with reshaping finance, because as I said earlier, this is a new area that's required to be thought of from a budgeting perspective. We have the experts to help you with that. And also putting digital first. Clearly, smart cities require smart technology, so there's a whole digital transformation agenda that we need to put forward. And again, we would be able to work with and support your colleagues in that arena. And then finally, it's got to really be done on a sustainable basis. Clearly, urban development is here to stay. It's going to get bigger. Urban economies account for over 70% of the carbon emissions. So we have to do it in a very sustainable way, not only from a financial perspective, but from an environmental perspective. So again, we look forward to joining you in this journey. We look forward to participating in the discussions later today, and we look forward to hopefully serving you in the future. Thank you very much.
Hi and good morning to ladies and gentlemen. So I'm Alif Adham from Sabram Prai City Council. This morning I will present about Sabram Prai proposal for integrated waste management facility in Pulau Burung. So firstly, let me talk about our vision. Okay, next. Next, please. So, regarding our vision, we want to make Sabram Prai City Council as a transit to circular economy for waste management and building a thriving local industry for waste reuse, repair, remanufacturing and regeneration. So, we have 4 outcomes. For the first outcome, we would like to have towards zero waste disposal at landfill by 2030 to achieve 80% waste recycling rate by 2030, and thirdly, for fostering practice of segregating waste and storing recyclables at source by household and trade premise collection by 2025, and lastly, to align waste management towards Sabram Prai decarbonization aspiration and realizing the vision of carbon neutral by 2030 and zero carbon city by 2050. And secondly, I will talk about our current waste management. So in Sabram Prai, every year the waste generation estimated around 500,000 tons per year, and we have only one landfill in Penang, and this is shared by two city council, Sabram Prai and Penang City Council. The Pulau Burung landfill located at South District of Sabram Prai. So it will receive the municipal waste from South District of Sabram Prai and by Penang City Council. So this landfill receives only non-hazardous industrial waste from Sabram Prai, and currently one of landfill capacity has been used up, then landfill is projected to reach its capacity by 2035. And also in Sabram Prai also we have Ampang Jaja transfer station. So this Ampang Jaja is to receive waste from the household, wet markets, food courts from North and Central District of Sabram Prai. So for the next slide, I will present about proposed waste management. Currently, we already have waste processing and treatment center, which is now under development. So the location is located at Ampang Jaja transfer station. So the capacity of this waste processing and treatment center is around 650 tons per day. And for this center also, we will have material recovery facility and an aerobic digestion plant, also construction and demolition waste facility. So this already under development. So to complete the waste management in Sabram Prai, I would like to propose about the integrated waste management facility, which is to further reduce the reliance of Pulau Burung sanitary landfill, and also to drive waste management towards a circular economy, and then to build a comprehensive waste management system and resilient waste infrastructure. Okay, next, regarding our project overview. the proposed integrated waste management facility. So we are going to propose the location at the Pulau Burung sanitary landfill. The capacity is around 1,500 tons per day, only for industrial and domestic waste. And the facility, we would like to have 1,500 tons capacity of MRF, and then the 1,000 tons per day capacity of waste to energy plant. And then also for the ancillary services such as buyback centers and exhibition center. So for our way forward of this facility, we would like to invite technology companies with the necessary technologies and planning, design, APC and O&M experience and track records of WTE plants and material recovery facility and finance institution to participate in. Two, first develop 1,000 tons per day capacity of WTE plants. Secondly, to explore the recycling infrastructure required to support the material recovery facility operations. So, what I have from key learnings point from TFURP, from this we can learn that a very useful waste management example from Singapore include the interagencies, interaction and coordination among local governments and so on. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all Smart City Workshop participants. First of all, I would like to say thank you to all the partners, the Temasek Foundation, CLC, ARUF, to create this opportunity for Jambi City. Let me introduce you with my city. Jambi City is the capital of Jambi Province, located in Sumatra, Indonesia. City has a total area of 175.33 kilometers square, home to 750,000 people. Our proposed project is about integrated wastewater management in Danau Sifin or Sifin Lake. Danau Sifin has area of 109 hectares. Located in the heart of Jambi City, it's one of the alternatives for clean water reserve and economic potential. However, it's a flood-prone area. Water is polluted and for sanitation. Sifin Lake and its 5 tributary rivers are in a polluted state, of which 70 to 80% is caused by wastewater from households. Plastic, household waste, and overfeeding at a chase, fish, nursery, septic tanks only accommodate fecal wash. Therefore, get water in discharge directly into water bodies, causing pollution and sedimentation. Flooding in several river sections, diminishing the height of surrounding communities and reducing the quality of rainwater. This is exacerbated by the proliferation of street vendors who dump their used cooking oil and powder water into water drains. Citywide, many stakeholders, including community, have been collaborated in cleaning the lake, but the immensity of solid waste from the rivers keep coming and water hyacinth keep growing. The vision of this project is to have clean water in Danau Sifin. In the long run, this project would have a great impact for community awareness and understanding for an integrated water management in Danau Sifin, along with improvement of living conditions and environmental quality and optimization another function of Danau Sifin for tourism destination and economic creative. This 5-year project consists of 3 aspects, with its feasibility study and design, infrastructure provision, and community awareness campaign and training, with total budget of around $7 billion US. The potential study will be water quality assessment, water infrastructure master plan implementation program, both short and long term, water infrastructure detailed engineering design, solid waste management operational plan for collection, transport and recycle, and operational and maintenance guidelines. This project will start signed 2020 when Jambi City selected to participate in the Temasek Foundation Urban Resilience Program. This project will be started in 2022. For feasibility studies and design, the infrastructure provision will be started in 2023. Along with community awareness campaign and training, the project is expected complete by 2026. It's this special moment. We also would like to give our highest appreciation to Temasek Foundation and partners through this Temasek Foundation Urban Resilience Program process. We learn community involvement and identifying the resilience values are very important further. We could not make it without your strong support. Thank you for your attention. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dr. Haji Syarif Hasan, Mayor of Jambi City. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome from my side. My name is Gabo Gertz. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Green Hill. Now in the next minutes, I will present you how we help cities to become greener, smarter, and more sustainable. And how do we do it? By applying smart city solutions on the green assets, on the urban forest of a city. So when we talk about smart city solutions, we talk about laser scanning technologies and machine learning, which we apply on the urban forest, on the trees of your city. Now, why is this important? Trees have a major impact on the well-being of citizens, on their health, and they are tremendously under stress nowadays, mainly through climate change. Now, with our technology and our solution, we help cities worldwide to be more sustainable and to remain livable for their citizens. How do we do that? With laser scanning, we have something like a Google car, and also we use satellite images. We drive through your city and basically create a digital twin of your city. And by using machine learning algorithms, we extract relevant asset classes from these digital twins, especially focusing on trees. So basically, we create a digital twin of each tree in your city. Now, what does it mean? We build a 3D model of your tree and then extract relevant information to better manage the tree on a day-to-day basis, but also to support green urban planning and green governments. So we give you information about the metrical information of the tree, about the health status and health condition of the tree, about the structure of this tree. So for example, we can simulate at which wind speed a certain tree will break, so that in order that you wait for the next hurricane or storm and then you just repair damages, you can move from a reactive maintenance to a predictive maintenance, and before anything happens, you can actively treat the tree and prune the tree. And last but not least, we give you detailed information about the impact of each single tree on your environment. What does it mean? You all know that trees are very important for the life in a city, not only for aesthetic purposes, but also they help to reduce the air pollution, so they're actively filtering the air from fine particles, but they're also decreasing temperature. You can decrease your temperature in your city by up to 8 degrees. So we basically quantify the benefits of those trees and monitor it and help you to set up programs to maximize the impact in order to maximize the well-being and the health of your citizens. Our company has been founded in 2017. It had started with a research project here with NParks in Singapore. And since then, we have developed our company with offices in Singapore, in Europe, several offices in Europe, and an office in San Francisco, and are mainly working with cities worldwide to help them to maximize the positive impact of the urban forest on citizens' life. Thank you very much, and if you're interested in more information, please join us at our booth A06. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you very much for the introduction. It's really great to see everybody here and hear about all these really interesting projects. And we look forward to having a dialogue over the next couple of days and working out how IFC and the World Bank Group can help the cities. So for those of you who are not familiar with the International Finance Corporation, it is part of the World Bank Group, and so we are owned by 185 member states. And we provide solutions for private sector companies to invest in developing countries. We also support subnational financing and cities where there is no sovereign guarantee. So we're working with a number of you already, and I hope we can work with more of you going forward. We are active in supporting a whole range of activities with cities, and particularly looking at green and smart solutions, and increasingly sustainable financing, green bonds, and opportunities to really help you combine the solutions to the challenges that you're facing, along with finding suitable financial solutions for it. We have a range of solutions that can support cities. So on one level, we're supporting with the subnational finance, and as I said, we can support with sustainable and green bonds. We also work with cities to help them develop their credit ratings and then to bring financing to the market. An example was in over 10 years ago when we were supporting the city of Johannesburg to improve its credit rating, and it meant that it had a longer tenor of bond that it was able to raise. We're looking increasingly at sustainable financing and solutions for that. We also support the private sector in the solutions, so particularly in relation to smart solutions, whether it is in the case of transport solutions or healthcare, digital healthcare. We can be working with cities and with the private sector providers to bring those solutions to the cities. A key aspect that we see is also PPPs, so public-private partnerships. I think several of the projects that we've heard about already today could be very suitable for PPPs. We have a team that's very much focused on transaction advisory support to cities. And an example is where they have been working with several cities in India over the past number of years to bring energy efficiency to street lighting, which has resulted in significant cost savings, but also reductions in CO2 emissions. And then we also have, we bring together support from donors and others to support with advisory services, so we can help cities really think through smart solutions. We actually have a tool that we're now about to launch, which is to help do a diagnosis from a smart cities perspective on where the city is at with its digital foundation and how it can move forward. We also support on projects across a range of areas, whether it's wastewater, solid waste management, integrated solutions, energy efficiency in street lighting, and digital services in healthcare. We've been working with cities now for quite a long time, and as you see, we've raised over 5 billion of finance for cities across the globe, covering 117 projects to date, and working strategically with 14 cities globally. An example is the city of Izmir, which is in Turkey, and as you can see, we've had a very long lasting standing relationship with them over 10 years, where we've worked with them on a range of solutions, including smart transportation solutions, and also with developing a state-of-the-art wastewater facility. Each of those are projects where we've supported them in really thinking through what the optimal solution will be, and then through financing. Here are a few examples of where IFC can help enhance and finance city smart solutions. For example, in 2017, IFC partnered with Google and Convergence Partners and Mitsui and invested in C-Squared, which is a firm that provides open access fiber optic networks to underserved communities in countries in Africa. And it promotes the use of shared infrastructure to make services more affordable. Another example is smart mobility. We supported a city in Eastern Europe for the procurement of a large number of large buses. And the city now provides real-time bus schedule information, which helps with congestion and with improving schedules for those bus fleets. And example in Egypt, where IFC is invested in Visita, which is an Egyptian technology company that operates online digital healthcare booking platforms, which has included over 10,000 doctors subscribed in Cairo, Dubai, and Riyadh, and with geo-referencing information. These are just a few examples, and as I mentioned before, we are launching a tool this coming month, which is the Smart Cities Roadmap, where we can support cities to deliver end-to-end services through diagnosis of the city's digital foundation and assessment and prioritization of appropriate smart city solutions. The key areas that we're focusing on are digital infrastructure, smart transport, smart water and waste, digital education and telehealth, smart street lighting, smart buildings and housing, and smart waste management solutions. So I hope that we get an opportunity to speak to you during the course of the next couple of days, and look forward to partnership going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, dear friends. Today, in fact, we'll take you to the Surat Smart City, where I'll just go through. Surat is also known as the Diamond City. 9 out of 10 diamonds in the world are processed in Surat. It is also known as Textile City. 40% of the textile fabric is processed and final products are made in Surat City. It is also known as a Breed City, Solar City, and Green City. Surat, as far as the smart city is concerned, it is the best smart city in the country of India since last 3 consecutive years. It is also the second cleanest city of India. It is the first Water Plus city of India. It is also the first city as far as ease of living is concerned, and one among the best city as far as the garbage-free city is concerned. So this barrage that we are thinking in the Tapi river, Tapi is the lifeline river of Surat city. The barrage that you can see in the blue is about the tertiary treatment plant that I will talk to you later. But the green that you can see here on the river, on the blue longish line, that is the barrage, and that will be a 10 kilometers barrage of around 825 crores of rupees that will take care of water requirement of Surat city till 2060. And almost 625 hectares of land is earmarked, and that entire, because Surat is a city which doubles every decade. In fact, the population of the Surat city is now presently 7.6 million, and the city limit has grown 4 times since 2001. So the broad objectives that of the project is that it stops salinity ingression, prevents flooding, and prepares city for sustainable water requirement of the city in the future. It also provides a very good groundwater capability and reduce the risk of erosion and flooding in the city. And it also gives a green road corridor from one part of the city to the other part of the city. The recycling of treated wastewater plant is also there as a part of this project. This project, in fact, is the project that we are thinking to protect the interest of Surat city for the next almost 30 to 35 years, and by 2060 the water supply will be there. And the design intentions I have already told. So this is the roadmap for implementation. Almost all the requirements of the project is already met. I'll talk about also the tertiary treatment plant. Surat is the only city in the country of India to sell wastewater for after tertiary treatment to industrial grade water to the industries. And we are planning a 200 MLD tertiary treatment plant in Asarma to give the tertiary treated industrial grade water to ArcelorMittal, Nippon, Reliance Industries and others in Hazira area. This is the rationale of selecting all the projects. In fact, this barrage and tertiary treatment plant, this will define a new Surat city, and in fact it will be the best sustainable project in the country of India. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.